Hello there everybody, it is me Leo and welcome back to another Stardew Valley Legacy speed build. So today we're working on the house on One River Road. So this is where the character Alex lives with his grandparents Evelyn and George. So Alex is kind of like your quintessential stereotypical jock. He is really into sports, he's really into fitness, and oftentimes when I come to visit this house I always see Alex working out topless, but that's not the point. But I haven't really gotten to know Alex that much, to be completely honest with you guys, so I don't really know that much about his personality, but I have gotten to know him quite a bit to have seen the cutscene involving his dog Dusty. This is not something that a lot of people often see because not a lot of people actually know that Alex has a dog, but he does, and it's called Dusty, and it actually lives on this lot as well. If you guys notice, there is kind of like a little fenced in area in front of this house in Stardew Valley. So that's actually where Dusty lives. Occasionally you can see his red eyes poking in through from his dog house. So I actually put his little fenced in area to the side of this lot because it was quite a large lot, so I knew that I was going to use that space to put the dog in. So Alex lives with his grandparents, his grandma Evelyn, and her husband George. Sadly, Alex is an orphan. He lost his mother Clara, and Clara pretty much entrusted Alex to her mother Evelyn to pretty much raise him because she sadly passed away. So Evelyn, she is very dedicated. She is such a hard worker. Despite her age, she is really devoted to her family and to her husband specifically. She loves to garden. Occasionally I would see her tending the plants all over Pelican Town, and I've grown to like her because of that. She is, I have such a soft spot for her. When you first come into Stardew Valley, and I think one of the first conversations you make with Evelyn, she will automatically tell you to call her grandma, and who doesn't love that? And of course, this is also where George lives. Now, George, sadly, I believe because of his age, it isn't really revealed that much in Stardew Valley, but sadly, he can no longer walk properly. So he is in a wheelchair. I did keep that in mind when I was building this because I realized that a lot of the previous houses that I built were on foundations. So I was like, you know what, I'm never gonna put this on a foundation because George, like seriously, I am not that inconsiderate. This would have been so awesome to do like Sims with Disabilities challenge by a good friend of mine, Simproved. She started that hashtag for inclusivity, but I preferred to go with a more authentic look to how they had it in Stardew Valley, so I kind of just tried to copy everything as close as I can get it in The Sims 4. But George, he is kind of like the grumpy old man in Pelican Town until you get to know him a little bit better, and then you realize how really just like insecure he is because of his quote-unquote disability. There's a couple of cutscenes involving other characters where he refuses to accept help, which is totally fine. He's seems like he's capable of doing things himself, so eventually when you get to know him, he'll soften up to you and he'll actually give you a lot of gifts as well. I've actually gotten to know him quite a bit. I don't even know why actually, but I feel like I always cross paths with George. I feel like in my personal gameplay of Stardew Valley, I actually gotten to know him quite a bit. Alex also works during the summers tending the ice cream stand. I will actually actually be building that venue in a later episode of the Stardew Valley Legacy builds, so please watch out for that as well. Also, as always, I have to apologize if you guys can hear all of the traffic outside. It is pretty much the norm for me at this point. I'm pretty sure you guys have accepted already that I live in a really full of traffic place. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but yes, apologies if you guys can hear all of that traffic. So yeah, overall the outside of this house actually looked really plain. I'm not even gonna lie. It looks really big from the outside. I don't know why, but I think it's because, just a speculation, but I think it's because a lot of the rooms are actually really, really big inside. Like if you look at the living room, it is massive, which I actually have a justification for, because since George is in a wheelchair, it would make sense to live in a house with really large rooms, right? Because that would give him more mobility. He wouldn't be over encumbered, you know, he wouldn't bump into things and stuff. So I think that in subtle ways like that, they really considered each individual character, and I really appreciate the game for that. I've said that so many times. Also, if you guys want to learn more about the series, you guys can find it using the hashtag Stardew Valley Legacy, or if you guys want to see the builds, if I decide to eventually upload them, you guys can use the hashtag Stardew Valley Legacy builds. And for the Sims, you guys can use the hashtag Stardew Valley Legacy Sims. I still haven't made up my mind yet. We're still pretty early on into the series, so if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to comment it down below. And if I see enough people asking me to upload like the homes and the Sims, I might actually just upload it. So just let me know in the comments below, and we'll meet right there. So the outside, I tried my best to actually be as close to how they had the color. So the wallpaper on the outside, it's light blue, and it has these darker blue details, which I couldn't find because there's like no like sort of navy blue accent color for like some of the details that I had to put outside. So I just went with like some lighter wood accents. And some really nice rectangular windows as well with blue frames. For the inside, like I said earlier, you guys can probably hear my squeaky chair. I don't even know why, but I'm so fidgety today. Yeah, for the living room, it's quite large. The TV, interestingly enough, is located like smack dab in the middle of everything. But once again, oftentimes when I come to this house, I actually see George literally sitting like a foot in front of that TV. So I guess that'll make sense to make it easier for him. Interesting fact, George and Evelyn actually go to the clinic. I believe it's once a month. I don't know the exact date, but they oftentimes go to the clinic. And I actually had one cutscene with George where Harvey was trying to advise him to take care of his health a little bit more, and that was like such a hard cutscene because I kind of had to choose whether to tell George to, you know, take care of himself or just to, you know, spoil himself. So that was a really tough decision. Anyway, yeah, so working on the kitchen, it's got this blue wallpaper. And as always, I kind of just tried to make everything as close to how it looks in the actual Stardew Valley game as possible. So I went for as much screen accuracy as I can. So every single furniture item, every single decorative, you know, painting, wall hanging, I tried to copy it. What you guys wouldn't see in this video, because I did it off camera impulsively, is that I actually raised the level of this wall to like the middle wall height, because I felt like the shortest wall kind of looked really weird from the outside. I wasn't really sure about the proportions necessarily, so I raised it up to the middle because this one's currently the lowest wall height, so I did do that change off camera. and I feel like it made the proportions look so much better. This little hallway area, it's actually really interesting because I put a wind chime. I haven't used those items before actually, like I don't think I've ever had a build where I used those wind chimes, but I saw like this little item hanging from this wall right here in Stardew Valley, and I was like, what could that possibly be? So I was like, you know what, why not put a wind chime? You know, like it's functional, it gives the Sims a moodlet, and there's a bunch of them actually. You can have it hanging from the wall, or you can have it hanging from the ceiling. There's a lot of items like that really surprised me in a good way, pleasantly surprised. But right now working on, I mean, this is obviously George and Evelyn's bedroom. What I noticed among a lot of the houses in Stardew Valley is that the older generation typically has the smallest bedrooms, and the younger, more teenage generation has larger bedrooms. So that's a pretty interesting trend. I think in most of the houses that I've done so far, you know, the older generation has like teeny tiny bedrooms that literally only has like a bed and a couple other furniture items, while the teenage or like the younger generation, they literally have so much stuff in their rooms. Holy crap, there's so much noise outside. Hopefully that isn't distracting. It is to me. That's why I always react so violently every time I hear like a little honk. Every time a little, you know, car honks its horn. I don't know, it just bothers me a lot. But anyway, this house is a really tiny bathroom. Not that it matters, because I didn't really put a lot of effort on the bathrooms, to be honest. I made sure to have a lot of options to bathe. So a lot of the houses I've done were we had either like a combination bathtub and shower. I made sure to have that because it's easier, and if you have pets, you know, you can you have to have a bathtub. So I think I haven't made the family yet that's gonna live here, like the Mulner family. Yes, we actually know their last name. I believe they're one of the few characters where we actually know their last names. So George and Evelyn Mulner, I think that Alex might have a different last name because he is related to George and Evelyn through his mother, so I don't know. Anyway, so this is Alex's bedroom, and as I mentioned earlier, the kids have much larger bedrooms, but this is where a lot of stuff that really speaks to Alex's personality can be seen. So there's a couple of like workout equipment, and also like some sports related clutter as well, like some posters and some balls scattered around on the floor, some baseball bats, I believe. So yeah, it's a really nice room. I was really happy, and I also put Dusty's bed over here as well. Sadly, we don't have any dog houses in The Sims 4. I don't know why they didn't include that. That is so bizarre. Like, I think that is such a basic thing to have for a pet. I think there's no question that there should be dog houses, but they don't have it. So I used something else, but of course we needed a place to have Dusty stay in. So this is where I put him, and he does have a lot of space over here as well. So I'm pretty sure he'll be pretty happy. And this is like the cork board wall, I guess is what I should call it. I don't know, it's like the wall of fame. So I put like a lot of sports related clutter items, mostly posters, but I also placed like a framed jersey as well. But yeah, I wish I got to know Alex so I would have a lot more to talk about in this video, but I mean, anyway, I mean, like, really, who cares? I feel like, I don't know, I feel like, once you've gotten to know Alex, I feel like his personality is gonna transcend more than just being, the hunky, stereotypical jock person. But yeah, this house was actually quite small in proportion to this lot, but if you actually look at it in proportion to all of the other houses I built so far, it's actually quite large. But there was so much space in this lot that I had to use it to, you know, build something else, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to put Buster's you know, like area, pen, enclosure, I don't know what the PC word for that is, where you keep animals in. It's his like little area for Buster or whatever, but yeah, I put it on the side. But in the game Stardew Valley, like, it's supposed to be in front of the house, so I was like, you know what, there's really no space in front, so we'll put it on the side because there's like so much space. But for the terrain paint, I just tried to make it look like how the terrain paint looks in Stardew Valley, especially the area surrounding Buster's enclosure and the house itself. So I just tried to, you know, make it look as close to the game as possible. Also, this little backyard area, I actually just gave myself a lot of artistic license on that because we really don't see the backyards. Actually, we don't see any other part of the house except for the front, to be completely honest with you guys. So a lot of this involved certainly a lot of artistic license. I'm not sure if the dogs can actually stay inside of that like pet transportation thing. I hope they can though. That's weird. I hope they can. But yeah, I also threw in like some dog bowls and a little chew toy container. I don't even know why. I don't know why I'm like at a loss for words right now. But yeah, I just put like a lot of grass and stuff. Over here, I decided in this video, like in this recording, I decided to use like a fruit like wall hanging decoration thing, but I actually changed my mind off camera and I put like the dog icon instead for like the vet. So that's an interesting detail for you guys to keep your eye on. Also, I changed some of the trees. You'll probably see it in the house tour video at the end of this video. Some of the trees will change. I did change the trees into some larger ones because we just had way too much space. So I was like, you know what, these trees ain't working, they're way too skinny, so I went with like some larger trees instead. So for this backyard area, I actually put a lot of like skill related items that, like I said, speak to like all the individual characters of the people living here. So there is like this gardening area for Evelyn over here. I'm placing that right now so she can garden over there. I'm gonna say that the barbecue area is for George because I don't know, he just likes to barbecue. And of course I also put a treadmill as well for Alex. So I don't know what else we're gonna do here, but I think that is actually pretty much it for this video. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this series so far. So I will be back on Monday for a brand new episode of the Stardew Valley Legacy Build series. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up my commentary right here and let me know how you guys feel about the series so far. So as always, you guys have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.